I'm back home in America, and today I'm visiting President's Park. This is located in Williamsburg, Virginia. Giant statues were sculpted by a Houston artist named David Addick. These used to be open to the public at a park that had thousands of visitors up until 2010, when a company came in and bought up all the land, and then these huge president's heads had to move. Instead of allowing them to be demolished, one of the people involved with the park allowed all 42 of these giant heads to be sent back to his private family farm for safekeeping until they figured out what to do with them. 13 years later, they still sit on this private family farm and are not open to tourists except for 8 days out of the year.
Most people would rather not hear you out than know the truth. Not because they don't care, but because they would rather accept that it's not real than it being. Why would someone even do this in the first place, especially to a child? It's not just because they are sick in the head, but it is because ritualistic abuse is directly correlated with destiny swapping. Let's just call this pizza, which elites have to keep on consuming pizza over and over again to get more power from it. Children have higher destinies because they were just born. They haven't been tampered by sin. They still have their innocence. So if someone does something with a child, they can easily go up in life versus doing anything with an adult. They say in the Matrix, follow the white rabbit, which the white rabbit is adrenochrome. When you look at adrenochrome, the molecular structure looks exactly like a rabbit. Now, to go further into things, we have to go to topics like mysticism and Kabbalah, which this is mostly a Jewish practice, and there is a light side and a dark side with this practice, just like any other form of divination. One side aligns you with your destiny that God gives you so that you can find what is truly meant for you. Another side where you believe one thing has to die for you to succeed, which is working with Saturn, aka Satan, because the planet and the person are one and the same.
What did you just say?
I said, is there a black person here?
This is
Do you have a question?
Yeah. Is there a black person here?
Shit, why are you asking that?
And Janice said there was one in here. Came to check.
There's a white person here too.
I don't need one of those.
Stop what you're doing.
What's the big deal? I'm just trying to find the black person here.
Well, you found her. Okay, you got her today. Okay, let me see. Let me set my sparkling down.
Oh, here it is.
Got it.
Black person in here.
Yeah. Success.
Success.
I like your haircut, Linda.
Hackers are sneaking into inboxes with something you wouldn't expect. SVG files. Here's how it works. Victims get an email with what looks like an innocent attachment, maybe a receipt, a voicemail, or even a shipping label. But instead of a PDF or Word doc, it's an SVG image. But here's the trick. SVGs aren't just pictures. They can contain code. When you open that image, it can quietly redirect your browser to a phishing site, one that steals your login credentials the second you type them in. This technique has exploded over the past few months. Attackers love SVGs because they slip past a lot of security filters that normally lock suspicious file types, and they provide a way to take you to malicious URLs. So how do you protect yourself? Do not interact with emails you weren't expecting, especially when they have attachments. Unless you're a graphic designer, there are very few reasons you should ever even be expecting to see an SVG in an email attachment. So if you do, that's a red flag. And never type your password into a page.
Business isn't inside your brain. It commands 50 trillion cells that execute every thought as divine order. Goddard discovered that when you internally declare, I am healthy, or I am prosperous, you're not making empty affirmations, but directly programming your biology through energy fields measurable by science. Terminally ill patients cure themselves completely just by assuming the feeling of already being healed, activating dormant longevity genes. Your controlled imagination reshapes your physical reality when you truly feel yourself to be what you desire. Every emotion generates specific chemistry that your cells interpret as executive commands. You govern a microscopic civilization that religiously obeys your dominant perceptions. But nobody teaches you how to consciously assume control of this ancestral power.
The system wasn't built for you to win. You went to school to memorize facts you never use. You were trained to raise your hand, wait your turn, and follow instructions. Then they told you, get a job, work 40 hours a week, give half of it to tax, retire at 67 if you're lucky. That's not a life. That's a script. And most people don't question it because they're too tired from living it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's when you realise freedom was never going to be handed to you. You have to build it. And that's why I teach digital products. Because ownership is the only way out. No boss, no begging, no clocking. You move different when you know the system was never designed to serve you. It was designed to use you. Break the script or stay stuck in it.
that is heavily restrictive on our travel and exploration. They tell us there's nothing in the North Pole, just ice sheets. But looking back at hundreds of old world maps depicting something much different than we've been told, all showing the same 4 islands with a mysterious black rock mountain in the middle, said to be a magnetic mountain. And not only are they depicting the same land, but they say they were inhabited. Just look at some of the descriptions, even a Tartarian village. The famous cartographer Mercator in 1577 wrote a letter to a friend in England describing the North as this: in the midst of the 4 countries is a whirlpool, into which there empties these 4 indrawn seas, which divide the North, and the water rushes round and descends into the earth, just as if one were pouring it through a filter funnel. It is 4 degrees wide on every side of the pole, that is to say 8 degrees altogether, except that right under the pole there lies a bare rock in the midst of the sea. And it was far from just one cartographer. Chinese, Japanese, the world over was showing us the same. These cartographers at the time, jobs and reputations depended on their accuracy. They weren't just going to repeat something unverified for centuries. There has been many detailed lands in this realm that have been erased, not just the North Pole, but places like Friesland. But what do you think, signs of a reset, or cartographers copying each other? Question everything, friends.
The Rothschild family. Look at the Balfour Declaration. That's where it started. The issue of Palestine specifically is that the British tried to sell the land of the Palestinians, a land that wasn't theirs, to a Zionist who didn't even believe in God and felt that they had a higher right to this land. And what initially started as just migration of Jewish people, it's a huge population of Muslims, Jews, Christians, all living in this land. It wasn't until 1948, the Nakba, or the Great Catastrophe, when there was a mass expulsion of Palestinians. And then there was another great catastrophe in 1967. But the interesting thing to know is that all of the people in Gaza right now all came from the rest of Palestine when there was the mass expulsion in 1967. The same genocide that you're seeing now, it happened in 1967, it happened in 1948. The Gazans that are in Gaza right now, and they're not Gazans, they're Palestinians. They lived in Gaza, and my mom was born there. My mom's U.S. passport says she's from the Gaza Strip. They are Palestinians that were pushed into this small corridor of land called the Gaza Strip in 1967. And that was their solution. It was a temporary solution to the Palestinian problem.
What's going on? Is it finished?
It's not coming out.
It's not coming out. What do you mean?
It's not coming out. That's all I can say.
Because
That's all I can say.
it's not coming out on ESPN, or it's not?
Not coming out, period.
It's dead? Project's dead? What? Can you give us any ideas?
I can't.
Is that your decision then?
I signed a non-disclosure and I can't talk about it.
Really? Are you serious right now?
I don't joke like that.
They would progressively infiltrate all of the races. They would get the coding from the angelic human 12 tribes by raiding the 12 tribes, sexually interbreeding with them to get a genetic line to create a super race that would carry the codes, the Stargate codes that corresponded to Earth's grids. So they had, not only were they fighting for the Templar now they were targeting the angelic human race because it had the codes, and if they could interbreed, because now they were capable of creating live offspring, if they could create a race that would hold all of the Stargate codes, and they'd have to do it one group at a time. They'd have to infiltrate Tribe 1 and Tribe 2 and Tribe 3 and very carefully interweave what tribes they raided to create a race of children, a race of human mutants that would look like the rest of us, that would have the keys to the Templar running in reverse. This is what they tried to do, and it was an official agreement that was made. What we're living right now is the end of that agreement. There's some interesting things done in order to fulfill that agreement. Interesting and horrific. The most important one that I'll add to this, because there's a whole list of them that I can go through, and I'll just go through the list real quick without having time to elaborate.
The question here is how he will make his next appearance. Just an ordinary day in Guatemala.
What is that? What is it, man? Oh.
In the video, you can see a humanoid figure standing in the jungle. The strange part is that its whole body seemed... According to them, this being had skin that was completely blue, almost as if it was lit up from the inside, and it was just standing there watching.
Modern medicine has utterly failed by treating you as a defective biological machine in need of external repairs, when in fact, you are the supreme commander of a microscopic civilization of 50 trillion inhabitants that blindly obey your mental commands. This is not a poetic metaphor, but a biological reality that shatters all the foundations of genetic determinism and places in your hands a power that conventional science prefers to ignore. For decades, we have been conditioned to believe that our health, our destiny, and our reality are the products of external forces over which we have little to no control. defective genes, invading viruses, unfavorable circumstances. All these elements supposedly shape us as passive victims of a random and cruel universe. But this narrative is not only false, it has been responsible for keeping humanity in a state of unnecessary powerlessness. The truth emerging from the world's most advanced laboratories reveals a completely different reality. You are not a singular entity fighting against external forces, but rather an organized multitude of trillions of microscopic beings that respond instantly to the commands issued by your consciousness. Every thought you generate, every emotion you experience, every belief you hold is immediately transformed into specific biochemical instructions that your 50 trillion cells receive and execute with a precision that would be the envy of the most sophisticated computing system ever created. This discovery represents not just an evolution in scientific understanding, but a complete revolution in the comprehension of what it means to be human. When the ancient masters declared that you will know the truth and the truth will set you free, they were not referring to a merely philosophical liberation, but to the practical discovery that we are the direct architects of our own biological and existential experience. The immediate relevance of this understanding transcends any previous medical discovery. If you are dealing with health issues, problematic relationships, financial limitations, or any form of suffering that seems beyond your control, the revelation that you are the ruler of a vast cellular civilization that obeys your conscious directives offers a real and practical way out of these unwanted states.
There are just so many people now that are following this Ken Panama thing. I've got to do another update because it seems weird. There's people that have talked to Ken and they say that something is starting to consume him. Something's taking over him. If you're following all of his videos like I am, I'm not just like watching the videos. I'm reading what he's writing underneath on the videos, like in the sections. And he's starting to become a little unhinged. He says, I'm scared, I'm losing it. But most importantly, and I don't want to sensationalize this, but I wouldn't be on TikTok if I wasn't sensationalizing something. He says this thing feels more like a demon, okay? And then you have, there was a friend of his that was actually from Panama that got in touch with someone here on TikTok, his name's Secret Service Sam. And they were doing some sort of like messaging back and forth, and he was saying, yeah, I know Ken, he's a good guy, he doesn't have video effects. He doesn't have CGI stuff. There's no way that he would fake this. But yeah, he's starting to lose it a little bit. And as you can see, he can there's no holes, there's no puppetry. He's got this thing in a freezer now. And it's moving. He even put a camera in there. But now he's writing in his comments now. Ken is writing in his comments. He goes, I am protecting this thing. This thing will not see the light of day ever. He's like devoting his life. He keeps talking that this thing, he said, it's not like an alien. It's more like a demon. Okay, and in one of his recent videos, he was drawing pictures. Check this out. Here he is on a whiteboard. If you can read the words, it says, don't damage the planet. So here's Ken drawing in the dark. So it looks kind of like a stick figure. I don't know what this is. Honestly, if someone says, what is this? What is this? Is this really Venom? Is this really Venom? I would say this is an interdimensional entity. This is what it looks like. This is like, think Stranger Things. Something from somewhere else has come in to our realm. And it's starting to consume them. The only thing easier than going around calling everything real, because there's so many AI videos and stuff like that, is calling stuff fake. Everyone's calling, not everyone, but there's a lot of people that are saying that this is fake. They're saying that you fake, that it's a potato and all that stuff. You're getting hung up on the wrong thing. Look in the freaking freezer. What is that movie? There's no puppetry. There's no animatronics. There's no CGI. Okay, and the person that Secret Service Sam here on TikTok was talking to said that this person